on one side and the other, so right in here. It's kind of touching. So what I can do then is just kind of push that over slightly. And what you're kind of trying to go for is when you're holding your finger steady, that you can feel the pot kind of touching your finger all the way around. So it's pretty close right now. Then what I'm going to do is take some little balls of clay or little snakes of clay. You can use balls of clay, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to press them on each side of the pot. That way I don't push it off center.
Just stationary?
To keep it stationary. And I'm also going to put some here.
Okay,
That's
that's
good.
good.
And then I'm just going to come in and kind of clean up this bottom a little bit. What you should be doing too is
Looks good.
letting your pots sort of dry until they're not sticky anymore, then cutting them off your bat and flipping them over, and then allowing the bottom to dry, because if it's, you know, setting the way it was thrown, the bottom's not going to really dry very easily, so you want to make sure that's kind of leather hard. So make sure you're wrapping your pieces up too. It's really frustrating to try and trim dry clay.
So we don't get them all the way dry.
You don't want them all the way dry. Like some, I think, Chinese and Korean potters will trim dry porcelain and things like that. Doesn't really work very well with this earthenware clay. So I would definitely encourage you to do it when it's leather hard. Then you could do a couple of things. You can sort of clean up the bottom just kind of by removing a little bit of clay. And I usually try and remove a little bit more clay sort of in the center. That way when the pot's resting on a table, it's kind of just resting on that outer edge, so it'll kind of sit flat.
Oh, okay.
You can also, you know, trim a little, you could do a little edge on there if you want to.
That's nice.
Or you can do a foot. If you have enough clay, you don't have to do a foot. Foots are great for or feet are great on like cups, like teacups or bowls. Almost always have a foot on them. But cylinders don't necessarily need to have an established foot, but I'll just show you how to do that. And this is when you would use this tool. Just kind of start establishing a bit of a ring. Trimming can be a little frustrating in the beginning too, depending on how thick your pot is. Now, May and I were just talking